I'm Matt with etrailer. If you have a 2024 Ford Expedition and you're just looking for a rack so you can take you and your family out for riding, but you want something that's going to be really easy to load and unload your bikes, then the Kuat Transfer V2 Bike Rack is going to be a great option for you. Now, the one we have today is designed to carry 3 bikes, but you can get other variations that carry a different quantity of bikes too. Either way, they're all going to work the same way, because what's cool about it is when you're working with it, you can actually move these arms out of your way so you can get closer to your bike. It just makes it easier to maneuver it. Now, this is also going to be rated for bikes up to 40 pounds, so it's really more designed for your standard type bikes. The one downside, though, I do find with it is if I try to open up my hatch, typically I would have to lower my bike down. To do that, you just press that lever, and that would tilt it back. But in our case today, the Expedition's hatch is extremely large. So what you're going to find is it's most likely going to make contact with your pedal, and even more so once it reaches the top here, even if you have road bikes, it will typically make contact with the handlebars. So the way we're going to really work around that is just by taking off your bike. But that's one of the benefits of having a rack that is just really easy to work with. To show you what I'm talking about, I'll just come over here, undo this strap on our rear tire just by pressing it in. Sometimes it can get kind of stuck. We've had this one stuck in the shop for quite a while. I'll just tuck that behind. And now when I'm moving over to my front ratcheting hook, I'd like to maintain control of my bike. Press this button, push up, and then away. And since I'm standing super close to my bike, that gives me the ability to get more control and take it off. And now I can take my bike out for a ride. Something I do like about that, since we're not making any contact with the frame of our bike, it's perfect for those alternative frame or carbon frame bikes. And you'll also notice we do have our front cradles. It has multiple really divots in it. This will be great for different size tires. And over here on the rear one, this one is actually adjustable to accommodate for a wider range of wheelbases. I just like to put that back into place, but now this gives me the opportunity to really open up my hatch. That's great because if I'm going grocery shopping, I can access this now, and if I want to get ready for my ride, I can do that too. I can take a seat here, tie my shoe, grab my helmet, and get ready. And once you're done, you can close this back up and then put this back into the seated position. And really, there's not too much to that. You're just putting these arms back down. And sometimes it can be a little bit stiff. It just depends on how tight you tighten these knobs originally. And from here, we can get a few measurements. The first measurement I like to get is going to be the ground clearance. So if I go from our ground to the bottom of this carrier, that's going to be 28 inches, which is pretty high, thanks to the Expedition being a taller vehicle. So when you are loading up your bikes, I'd really think about that, because it might be a little bit difficult, but as long as you stay within the weight capacity of 40 pounds, you shouldn't really struggle with it too much. But I do like that it is this high, since we won't make ground contact. Next up, I like to get the total distance away from our vehicle it's going to sit. This is going to be just about 44 inches. So that's a little bit longer compared to some other bike carriers around. What we can do to actually save space is, if you don't have any bikes currently loaded on here, you can actually fold this up. Now, this can be a little bit tricky sometimes, because if you try opening up these arms and then putting it up, then you'll have to somehow find a way to put them back into place. There's a couple of different ways of navigating it. The easiest way I find is just come over here with your hand, press down on that lever, and then lift up. Because its carrier doesn't weigh that much, so it's pretty easy to maneuver. It'll lock into place there. And when I grab my measuring tape now, the total distance is going to stick out is only going to be around a foot. So really, that's going to save you a ton of space. There's another benefit to this really design of the carrier, and that's going to be how it interacts with the back of your vehicle. If we take a look right here at the center, you'll notice we have our backup camera and our license plate. Most racks are going to block that, But since it's open here, that's going to allow that backup camera to mostly have a clear visual. This might get in your way a little bit, but you should be fine to use it. And when it comes to your license plate, that's barely going to be obstructed either, so you'll be good in that respect too. You'll get a little bit of it blocking your back window, and this might kind of get annoying just a little bit, so if that is an issue for you, I'd either recommend just sticking to using your mirrors. But your taillights won't be obstructed at all. And the way this is going to install is, if we look down right at the bottom, you're going to see that we have this 2-inch shank right here, and that's going to go into your 2-inch hitch receiver. You'll then have a pin that passes through and connects to a lock core on the other side. That lock core is going to give you extra security and be key to a included bike cable lock that comes with your kit. And you're also going to have a built-in anti-rattle device at the very back of it. It's going to be this little bolt right here. You're going to have a security Allen key that comes with this. You'll tighten that down, and what that's going to do is just give you a better hold so this doesn't rattle around in your receiver. Now, in my opinion, I think this is a solid choice if you're looking for something that's just really easy to load. Because like you saw, I was able to move those arms out of my way, and I'm not really struggling with maneuvering my bike. Now, if you're looking for something that's going to play a little bit nicer with your hatch, then I'd recommend the Benton Shifts and Grins. Now, that's going to be a little bit of a heavier rack, but since it sits a little bit further away from your vehicle, and it has a more aggressive tilt to it, then in more cases, you'll be able to open up your hatch, but it also will depend on the size of your bike too. And the other thing I do like about that, it has a fold-up option, so you can actually fold up the shank so it takes up less space too. But this one, in my opinion, just looks a little bit more aesthetically pleasing too, so it's really more so what you're trying to get out of your rack, what kind of look are you looking for, and who you're riding with, because I'd probably recommend this for anyone who's riding with more experienced riders if you are looking for more of those premium brands like Kuat. But that was just a look at the Kuat Transfer V2 bike rack on the back of our 2024 Ford Expedition. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.